Good morning, guys. This is Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today is Sunday, May 7th, 2023. And one of the things that we have that was really useful is the last 5 game leaderboard on the NBA tab. So I've been wanting to sit down, take some time, and make a last 7 leaderboard, which I've done here. So I'm going to run over it. I'm testing it out today, fixing a few things. I posted one of the sheets in the chat and the premium group for people to play with and try out. But this is great for DFS, player props, prize picks, whatever you want. So what we're looking at here, we've got a list of all of the MLB players. So if they don't have a game, you can filter out this little ... and get rid of those players. What I've added since I posted this early one in the chat is a lineup. So this is if the lineup is confirmed or not confirmed. So yes means we have a confirmed lineup. And again, every time you reopen the sheet, it's going to go out, look at the lineup, see if it's confirmed and updated. And then this is the projected order of the hitter if it's not confirmed. But if it is confirmed, this is where they are hitting in the lineup. And I'll show you why this is useful. Something else I want to point out is this is not the last 7 days. These are the last 7 games that player has played. So if a player like, let's say, Adam Duvall's been on the IL, it's going to show the last 7 games he played. So that's one thing to take a look at, because I don't want to have a bunch of gaps on games they didn't play. I want to know when they were there. Another thing is we have a drop-down menu up here. And how you activate this menu is just click inside the box and this caret drop down will open up. So again, see, it's gone, but if you click inside there, this caret opens up, click this drop down, and these are the stats that we can sort by. We have total bases. DraftKings does a hits plus runs plus RBI prop as well as prize picks, so I made that a separate column. We have home runs, hits, RBIs, runs, strikeouts. For some reason, they do a lot of batter strikeouts on prize picks, and fantasy score. Prize picks and DraftKings are pretty close to almost the exact same, so I just rounded it and put that in there to get an idea for any DFS players or fantasy score players. And then we have the last 7 games across these columns, and then we have the total, and then we have the average. So I had average in here, but I wanted to see what the total was in case there's some miscalculation on some games. So you can sort by total or average. And then we want to know who's that hitter going up. That's one of the biggest things in baseball. So we have the opponent pitcher, we have the team, I put that in there for filtering, and then the ERA, xFIP, WHIP, just the 3 basic stats to get an idea what they're doing. And then we can see what they've done the last 2 starts. I love these with our player logs. So here we can see Urias in his last start, he went 7 innings, gave up 1 run, 10 Ks, and it was against Philadelphia. I love seeing who they played so I can tell if it was a good team or a bad team. His prior start, he struggled, 6.2, 6 earned runs, 5K versus a Pitt team that was hot at the time. So it gives you a phenomenal way to start looking at props. Now, to give you an example, one of the things that I want to do is flip down here and get an idea. And you can even sort this, see who's got the highest ERA, whatnot. So let's go ahead and just try that. So let's go FIP. So some of these pitchers, so if it's not listed, I didn't filter out those players. They don't have a game or they're not in the lineup. Suarez becomes one of the hotter pitchers to go after. Yarborough, if it's blank, we don't have his game logs pulled in. There will be a few pitchers that slide in there. Quell's been struggling a little bit, Kopech. But the one I really want to go after is Taijuan Walker. So this is someone that I want to target. So I want to look at Taijuan Walker by himself. So I'm going to click this caret, and then you can see these boxes are all selected. If you're not familiar with Excel, just uncheck that, and it gets rid of all of them. Then we're going to go down here, and we're going to find the pitcher we want to look at, which is Taijuan Walker, right there. And we're just going to check him. Once we check him and hit OK, it's going to bring up just Boston. And if you want, instead of doing the pitcher, you can even come over here and just filter out to the particular team. Either way is fine, or you could do the opponent team. Several different ways you could do this. So looking at this, his last start, he went 3.1 innings and gave up 8 earned runs. And then the prior start, he only went 4 innings, 5 earned runs. So he's been getting slammed around. He has a really high whip. So that's someone that we possibly want to go after. Now over here, we see this lineup is confirmed, so we know who the 9 hitters are that are going to start. And then I'm going to look here at the order. Now these little ... they are not in the order. The 1, 2, all the way up to 9, that's the order. So I'm just going to filter out the ... So those are people that are not in the lineup. And then I always sort this high to low. So this is what the Boston lineup is for today. Now what's beautiful about this is we see 1 through 9. This lineup is confirmed. These are the players. Now let's look at the last 7 games that these guys played. We can look at total bases. We can look at hits plus run plus RBIs and see where they're coming at in the lineup. We can look down here at home runs, see how many times they've hit home runs in games and who is hitting those. So for example, Casas, he doesn't have a home run in the last 7 games, so you could look at that and say, hey, maybe he's due. And then a lot of these other guys, they have 2. Connor Wong has 3 in the last 4 games, so that's interesting. But some of them do, hits. I mean, there's so many different props, it's hard to filter them out. RBIs. So here, Yoshida is putting up a lot of RBIs. You can even sort this over here by the total, by the average. Devers has been on fire. So if you're going to do an RBI prop, I'd probably look at Devers. He has 2, 1, and 4 over the last 3 games. Runs scored, you can kind of see, the top end of the lineup is typically going to score more runs than the bottom end of the lineup. And then flip down here, strikeouts. Lots of times on Prize Picks, there's a strikeout prop, so you can see which hitters are striking out. Here, Yoshida, he really doesn't strike out hardly at all, so that's kind of impressive. Maybe you look at an under there because Walker's not getting a ton of strikeouts. You can look at fantasy score if you're playing DFS and say, okay, who's the best fantasy guys that I can go with? So looking at this, the 1 hitter's good, 2's good. Tapia is super cheap. I think he's min-priced. You could look at it that way. Devers has been good. But down here, Wong's got some huge upside. So you could even do a wrap and go 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 9, 1, 2, 5. But it gives you the option to use this for player props, Prize Picks. I love doing stolen bases props. So I can flip in here and say, okay, well here, Valdez, this is interesting. He's got a stolen base in 3 of the last 4 games. So maybe I do something like a Yoshida and Devers hit RBI or hit plus run plus RBI prop, and then I put a Valdez stolen base prop in there and maybe a Connor Wong RBI, and that's going to pay a massive. So let's go ahead and clear this back out. And we're going to clear out the pitcher. So that's how we can separate it down by team. And let's say stolen bases, that's a prop that I love to do. So we've got the stolen bases up here. So I just want to see over the last 7 played games, who's got the most. Esther Ruiz, he's confirmed. He's first in the lineup. And he's got 1, 2, 0, and 2 stolen bases. So 5 stolen bases in 4 games. So looking at him to steal a base wouldn't be a bad idea. But you can flip down here. You can get an idea of who the leaders are. If you don't like the total, you can sort by average and say, okay, well, of course, Esther Ruiz is still going to be at the top. These little dark marks, I circle them out. It's like if they don't have that many games or there's not a game there, it's just going to dark out. If it's over a 0, then it's going to get color-coded and we can take a look at. If you want to do home run props and take a look at those, let's see who's got the most home runs. Christian Walker, he's got 4. So it looks like 3 guys here have 4 home runs. Duvall's on the IL, so we're looking at Walker, Ozuna, and Randy. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. But then you can see the last game. Let's see everybody that's got a home run in their last game that they played. You can flip down here. You can see who's in the lineup, where they're batting. Soler is interesting. He's got 2 home runs in the last 3 games, but he's going up against Wesneski, who's getting a little bit better. But anyways, there's a million ways you can break this down. So I just wanted to kind of show everybody what it looks like. And then also one quick thing, I love doing K-props. So what I added over here is a little K-prop section. So over here on the X Factor tab, we've just got the 2 pitchers and their strikeouts over the last 3 games. I may, in a week or 2, implement a drop down where you can flip it over. I don't know, that's going to be a little bit complicated, and I want this X Factor tab to be short and sweet and just give you a quick glimpse at everything. But one of the things I want to do is come down. Let me find a decent picture. All right, let's do, we'll use this one for purposes of this video. So we have Alcantara and Wesneski. So you can see their strikeouts over the last 7 starts. And you can see Alcantara really hasn't had a ton, but you can also see what the opponent team that they're facing, their strikeout rate is on the season and versus the pitcher hand. So it gives you an idea if they are prone to strike out a lot. Now, looking at this, Sandy Alcantara, I think he was 6.5, 7, 7.5, somewhere in there. He's been under that in the majority of games except for this one right here. And then looking at these, the Cubs really don't have a very high strikeout rate. A lot of green and blue is low. They have one guy here, Matt Mervis, who got called up. He's doesn't have that many at bats, but a lot of strikeout rates. And then versus pitcher hand, they're pretty low. So maybe that's one you either fade or do an under. But anyways, I'm going to have this on the sheet for tomorrow, these little strikeout K props, so you can get an idea when you're looking at the players, you know, who they're going up against and what they've done over recent games. So anyways, good luck, guys.